Much of the focus in the weeks ahead will be on Illinois lawmakers' attempts to pass a new state budget. A key deadline is May 31st. But even as they do, they'll be facing lingering effects from the stalemate that left Illinois without a budget for more than 2 years. Chicago Tonight's Amanda Vinicky is here with more. Amanda, what is the latest?
Well, you know, Phil, when we talk about Illinois' budget, it can be hard to put it into perspective. The economic toll of layoffs, the human toll of closed social service agencies, even when you get to the actual dollars and cents, those are in the 9 or 10 figures. So how do you make heads or tails of it? A report published today by Comptroller Susana Mendoza's office gives a point of reference to measure the impact of the budget impasse, which ran from the summer of 2015 through last summer. The state didn't totally shut down during that time. Instead, we kind of limped along, spending money on goods and services without the revenue to back it up. Illinois basically shoved off paying its bills and in so doing incurred interest. State law requires Illinois pay as much as 12% annual interest to certain vendors if bills go unpaid for more than 3 months. This new report highlights how Illinois racked up $1.14 billion in interest during that budget impasse. Now, that's nearly the same, $100 million more even, than Illinois incurred over the previous 18 years.
It really attempts to accentuate the toll that the budget impasse had on, the cost of it.
Now, Illinois made some headway on the backlog of bills, which reached a peak of $16 billion. We're now at about half that. But this report does go to show why investors still have plenty to be anxious about. Tomorrow, Illinois is set to go on the market to sell what are known as general obligation bonds. Basically, the state plans to borrow money to finance infrastructure projects. Yvette Shields, who covers municipal bond markets, says Illinois is facing a double whammy. For one, market rates have risen, so Illinois can expect to pay a higher cost. That one can't be blamed on the state. Not so regarding that second whammy.
Investors have gotten a lot more jittery about whether, budget gridlock is going to return, especially with the election looming. And they're also really worried about the state's ability to tackle its really daunting $130 billion pension liability, unfunded liability.
But Amanda, the impasse ended last July when legislators got together and passed a budget, and they voted to increase the income tax rate. Why are investors jittery now?
Shields says that did take the pressure off, and ostensibly having that $4.5 billion coming in should make it easier to reach a budget deal. Still, Illinois is just on the cliff of junk bond status. More gridlock could push the state over the edge. And just as during the impasse, Republican Governor Bruce Rauner and Democratic House Speaker Michael Madigan remain the putative leaders. Each say they want a budget to pass, but fear the other will try to prevent a deal.
Yes, you have this extra money, but is the state going to control spending? Is there going to be another budget impasse? And if that does happen, even though the state has this extra money, what happens to the bill backlog?
Now, Phil, when Illinois goes to the bond market like this, it has to provide investors with an accurate financial portrait. And interestingly, though Rauner vetoed the tax increase and denounces it at every step, his team is actually characterizing it as a selling point to investors.